Hello and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. Today, it is time for the Air Combat League. What is the Air Combat League? It's a series of air-to-air fighter simulations that I have been working on in the background recently, getting things set up. So as you can see here, we have two Su-37s or Suk-37s, and we're actually going to have basically every episode will start with each of the two fighters that are going to fight facing off against each other, and then 6 simulations will be run of those fighters attacking each other, and then I will be fast forwarding the footage or cutting out bits that are boring, you know, that sort of thing, and you'll only get to see the best part. As you can see right now, I have actually edited this from when I'm actually saying what I'm saying right now, because you're watching combat right now, and I'm just watching the planes before I actually started the combat scenario. Anyhow, so here's the rules. A fighter is challenged against itself, which is what you're watching right now, or maybe you've moved on to the next one, I don't know. 2 different fighters are positioned on opposite sides of the runway with the AI on standby. 6 simulations are run, 3 with one of the 2 fighters changing to Team B, and 3 with the other changing to Team B. That way I can hopefully eliminate any first advantages. In the event of a tie, the fighters are gonna both be put aside for future events. I'm not sure what this will be yet. And in the case where either fighter has a rear-facing turret, because some of these do, the switch to Team B is carried out only after taking both fighters off of standby mode, so they're both in the air, with the aggressor going first, aka the one that will turn to Team B, and the aggressor reaching 1,000 meters above sea level. That way, it gives them more of a chance to have air combat rather than just both sitting on the ground, firing their turrets backwards at each other and killing each other immediately. Now, this first sequence of combat, I know exactly how this episode's gonna go, but none of the others. This episode, I am recording my voice before I actually record what's happening, and I'll edit that together later. And it's just going to be first the Suk-37 Super Cobra against itself, then the Mikoyan-Gurevich MiG-21 against itself, and then both of those two fighting it out. So, we shall see how this goes. One thing I forgot to mention, in the event that the fighters do not immediately engage when one is switched to Team B, then I will turn off standby mode on the aggressor, aka the one that switches to Team B. Also, you might have noticed that the guard menu settings, basically I'm turning them to maximum visual range, maximum field of view, but otherwise leaving settings on default. The AI settings have been somewhat customized per plane, but may not be optimal. I did not do extensive testing. I did enough testing to verify that they would work, and that's about it. In the description, you will find a download link to all of the fighters used in at least this first series of combat scenarios, and along with that, a link to where I'm keeping track of statistics and the order of fights between the various different fighters. If you look there, I've already planned out, I think it's a series of 29 fights to start with. There's 29 fighters, 29 fights. It's all been randomized using random.org. So like I said, just check out the description for more info on that stuff. So it looks like we have 3-0 with the Su-37 attacking. And it looks like the MiG-21 is at least able to even the score when it goes first. That was a super hit. Despite a direct hit from the other craft, the Su-27 or Su-37, excuse me, remains flyable enough to safely land, or at least actually, let me check our landing gear. I believe we are missing one. No, actually, this plane can be safely landed, and in fact, if I right-clicked on the intake to reopen it, I could actually fly this plane more. So, while that definitely was a better performance when the MiG-21 went first, it was definitely its best performance the first time, a little bit worse the second time, and not nearly as good the third time, since this Su-37 could be safely landed. So in this case, the MiG's weakness seems to be, well, actually no, it does have flare and chaff. Never mind, I was going to say that its weakness was that it lacked flares, but actually it had flares, and it was taken out by radar tracking missiles. Unfortunately, it does not have the best maneuverability, and I think that was really its biggest downfall in this engagement. Also, you can see that it has only radar locking missiles on board. The actual radar is clipped in to make it, there you go, see, the radome is there, because there is no way to really make this look good without clipping it in or taking it apart entirely, in which case I wasn't confident I'd be able to build it back correctly. Meanwhile, the Suk-37 Super Cobra had both radar and chaff, flares and chaff. It had 2 sidewinders and 4 AMRAAMs, and its super maneuverability is a great bonus for dodging things or, you know, doing impossible maneuvers, but it's also can be its downside. As you saw in those engagements, its super maneuverability and its tendency to use that super maneuverability left it vulnerable to missile strikes because it was going too slow. It didn't have enough energy to dodge the missile. Now, the AI settings could possibly be changed to keep that kind of stuff from happening, but I'm not going to change it now that I've started this series, and I'll leave it up to someone else to determine what are better AI settings for this particular craft. Anyhow, that's all for this time. Hope you enjoyed it. As I said, there will be links in the description to where you can download the craft files that I'm using, as well as a list of who will be fighting who, how many times, etc. And hope you enjoyed. The next episode that I do of this Air Combat League thing, I'm not sure if I'll do 2 sequences of fighters or just the one like I did this time. I'm really not sure. It depends on how the editing goes on this one. And of course, also things may change because as I do one episode versus another, the whatchamacallit, some planes, some fights may take longer or may be shorter. Of course, I will also be editing the fights because when the game runs at a lower than ideal physics rate, I'll be changing how I... Oh god, we're gonna crash. I will change how I do the videos. You know, like for instance, a crash like that might be a little bit quicker in my editing. And, wow, that did a pretty good job of disintegrating the plane. Yeah, but anyhow, like I said, I will be figuring this out as I go.